Okay, this is Matthew Rupp. I'm making a short video to kind of explain what I'm working on to send to a few people that I really respect their opinions and get some feedback. This is basically the format for a book that I want to write, an ebook that I want to write. The hook, the gist of what I'm trying to accomplish is understanding how to be number one on Google. And that's the promise I'm fulfilling. And my challenges, one of the challenges is I don't want to overthink it or make it too in depth or comprehensive, or I just want to really fulfill this promise of helping my readers understand how to be number one on Google. What goes into that? So with that in mind, I'll kind of run through my outline, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to send this to a few people. I'm just looking for some feedback on the outline. If it is a logical flow, if it seems to, if the outline that you look at and with the goal in mind, if it seems to flow in your opinion, or if it's kind of clunky or not clear in spots. So anyway, I start with who this book is for. It's really for service businesses that want to show up on the map. I want to, if you have an e-commerce site or sell boots or promote a band or do it international or national, I'm sure you'll find it helpful, but this isn't really for you. So I think that's important. Forget all the nonsense you've heard up to this point. And I can talk a little bit about that. I mean, even stuff that you read today, a lot of the stuff that you're reading about today has to do with this kind of SEO. And the industry is really just blown up. It used to be you were good at SEO, which is search engine optimization, coming up higher on Google, and now it's, you have experts in very specific niches of online marketing, and those are entire industries in and of themselves. So really a lot of the, and it's all about money and myths, and so really just forget a lot of the stuff you've heard and been told and read and stuff that you still read. It either doesn't apply to you. So anyway, forget all this nonsense. Um, I don't want to bore them to death, but I think a little background on Google that wasn't even called Google in the beginning, and how search engines index websites, how you're not actually looking at the web. When you're looking at the web, you're looking at a search engine's index version of it. I thought that would be worthwhile to kind of give it a little bit of context without boring them to death. What Google is trying to do. This is really the filter we run everything through, and that's they're trying to find the best possible result for related to, if you're a plumber, they're trying to find the best possible result. If someone goes to Google, they search for this, they don't have a great experience, they search something else, they don't have a great experience, that makes Google look bad and threatens the cash cow, which is the selling the 60, 70, 80 billion dollars a year in paid ads. So they make the money through the paid ads by offering really, really, really good organic results. So maybe pay-per-click and Google and money, that might get touched on. Okay, so what should your mission be? Don't fight them. Get on the same side of the table. Make it easy for them to see when it comes to that. Everything's in order and in line and matches up. You are the best dentist in Wichita or plumber. That's your mission. That's the goal, is to get on the same side of the table and make sure that it's easy for them to see that. So that in a crux is the thought process of understanding how to be number one on Google. Okay, so now that we have that, two things, I'm not sure if these are in the right spot, and that is a big one that I see a lot here is some companies that haven't really identified their target audience, or haven't really, what sets you apart, what's your competitive advantage. You haven't really defined that. You haven't really defined who your audience is. You don't have any materials. Like, you don't really have any marketing. They turn to SEO to help them come up number one on Google. And it's really hard. SEO should support your marketing, not be your marketing. And if you don't have these 6, 8, 9 things that I can show them and give them a little bit of a direction on how they can find, if you don't have some of these things in place, you're really either not ready for SEO, or it's going to be hard. So I want to mention that somewhere. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's the best spot. And Good news, this may go under this next section, but you only have to be better than the other guy. And I can talk about this as it is involved, it can get complex, it can get, it can get real esoteric and real in the weeds and real technical. You don't necessarily have to do that. The good news, you only have to be better than the other guy. Okay, and then now let's jump into it. We understand our goal is to show that Google's trying to find who's the best heating and air company. We get our goal is to get on the same side of the table and help them with that. Got those two out of the way. So let's use this free spreadsheet. They can either start a blank spreadsheet in Excel or download the one that I'll put together for them. And let's make these all the headers at the top. Open your website and every competitor you have in your area, and let's look at their websites real quick and compare, see how you compare to them in all these different areas. And there'll probably be 4 or 5 more. And the goal is really just to see how, when it comes to your website, your content, your site speed, mobile friendly, backlinks, citations, how do you compare? How easy, I guess what I'm saying is, how easy is it for Google to see that you are the best dentist or heating and air company in Wichita? And a lot of times it's plain difficult to see. A lot of times your competitors, well, even in their site as well, it's almost making it difficult for Google to see what they do and who the best choice is. So, and this is usually real eye-opening when they look at it from, when I explain it from this perspective and explain this and then show them how they compare in lots of different important areas. A lot of times it's pretty eye-opening. A lot of times it's almost, like I said, it's almost difficult for Google to see who's really doing well. I mean, it's who is the best dentist in Wichita or who is this. Excuse me. Okay, this is important, is don't push too far in any one direction. Like you can have, you want to get rid of the knuckleheaded stuff and get everything in order and lined out in these areas, but you don't want to go super far. And there's lots of examples, guest posting, link building. There's lots of examples of where Google pushes back, and they push back when they see things that are disingenuous, that are not, you do something and you have some success with it, so let's do that a lot more. Okay, that doesn't look natural. Google's not, they're really antennas up looking for people that are trying to game the results. And when you do that, you put yourself in a real precarious position. Okay, does Google tell you how to rank well? Well, yes and no, and there's guides to it. On one hand, they're very, very helpful, but if they were real specific about how to rank well, the people that are trying to gain the results are going to learn from that. So there are a lot of people that think Google's very, very misleading and very, very not helpful. So the basics, yes, they're very, very helpful. You kind of have to read between the lines and kind of take it for what it's worth. Do they want to help you rank well? Yes, in a very natural, organic way. So anyway, I think that's, any feedback about if that's worthwhile or good or helpful would be great. Your challenge, really look at the big picture, and it's not about any of that. There's so much crap that people hear. If you just focus on be authentic, find a way to share consistently, offer great service, and you kind of got to pull back the curtain, and that's show off before and after jobs or case studies of really good jobs you did well, or kind of your team in action, your business, your culture, doing what you do and doing it well and sharing that. And that's, if you kind of run that through this filter, you're giving Google exactly what they're looking for. I thought about this at the top. I feel like it applies. I'm not sure about this one. The days, and I see this a lot, the days they're just throwing money into advertising, like those are gone. They're not coming back, and it's constantly getting harder to do that because people are in control of where they consume media. There used to be 3 TV stations. Now there's literally a million ways to consume content. Interruption marketing, that's where you just throw money out there, and it used to work. It did. I did it. Lots of service businesses that want to come up, in the come up number one when you open the phone book. It used to be. That used to work. It's not going to. It never will. So maybe this does belong at the top. It takes a new mindset now. Your mindset and challenge look like pretty much the same. It looks like I'll make some changes. Probably consolidate those two. What I see a lot, and this happens a lot, when the time is right, they overthink it. I want to do this first. We tried that and it didn't work. Next quarter, after the grass is green, the weather's better, this person comes back, and it doesn't happen. And it does. It does. It takes a new mindset, and it's a challenge. So really, maybe these 2 or 3 could even be one, but I thought this might be helpful. You know, it probably could be combined into one of those two. Your next steps, and I'll have a big resource forum, a checklist, take things to the next level. So your next steps, this would probably be helpful to put in here somewhere. Does it work like magic? Yes and no. I mean, if you do any of this kind of work that we're talking about, it'll definitely make an impact. How much? It really depends on your competition, how aggressive your competition is, how much of a head start they are. But I've seen places, I've had examples with clients where, like, it's unbelievable, it's incredible. I mean, really, really significant progress, really, really quickly. And in situations like that, we probably just fixed a couple things that were roadblocks for that site and allowed Google to see their content and their links and this and everything just kind of lined up. And maybe we just got a couple things out of the way that were hanging them up. So I've seen situations where, I mean, we get practically everything right, and there's not a ton of competition, and it's still kind of a hard fight. So I've seen hard fights that don't make any sense. I've seen things where it just looks like something's stuck and it gets unstuck, and then there it is. You know, a lot of traffic. So and everything in between. So it's not that the game constantly changes. I didn't talk about that when it comes to SEO, because Google's constantly evolving. I can show them there's a list of changes, and they're constantly evolving, you know, based on social media, based on people are on their phones more than they used to be. Younger people are doing this based on what, you know, where they're physically located is now a huge factor. Okay, and this will continue to happen, but as long as you realize, you know, you're running everything you're doing through this kind of filter, and in the important areas, you have all your ducks in a row, and you're somehow being authentic and genuine and pulling the curtain back and sharing something consistent, helping Google see this is what I have to do to succeed, is I have to do this over and over and over and over. Okay, so that sparked a thought. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna send this to a couple people. If you could look this over, and I'm just looking for any feedback over on this side. We're like, I think this should go here. I think this should go here. This would have helped me, or this is where you kind of lost me. Any feedback like that would be really, really, really helpful. And thank you very much. I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.